What if I told you that success isn't some distant mountain you climb once in a while? What if success is not about a single breakthrough, a lucky moment, or even a big leap forward? Success is found in the simple, consistent actions you take every single day. You see, too often we look for massive results and we forget that those results are the product of small, deliberate habits. Success is not an event. It's a lifestyle. It's the quiet decisions you make every morning before the world wakes up. The choices you make when no one is watching. The truth is, your daily routine shapes your identity. When you commit to doing the right things, the hard things, every day, you start to become the person who can achieve greatness. It's not magic. It's not luck. It's about showing up again and again, doing the work that others won't. If you want to be successful, start by looking at your daily routine. What do you do at 6 a.m.? How do you prepare for the day? What are the habits you repeat when no one's applauding? Because those small moments build momentum. They create a foundation that nothing can shake. Success is often seen as a spectacular moment, the moment when everything suddenly falls into place, when a big opportunity arises, or when a single breakthrough changes the course of your life. We tend to imagine success as a lightning strike, something dramatic, rare, and almost magical. But in reality, success is rarely born out of one isolated event. Instead, it is the result of countless small, consistent actions performed day after day. It is a product of the habits you build and nurture over time, the steady effort you invest in your craft, your mindset, and your growth. Think about any person who has achieved lasting success, whether in business, sports, the arts, or personal development. What do their stories have in common? It's not that they got lucky once or stumbled upon a perfect opportunity. It's that they committed themselves to a daily practice, a routine that pushed them forward even when progress was slow or invisible. These daily habits, repeated without fail, compound over time, creating momentum that propels them toward their goals. This concept is important because it shifts the focus from chasing quick wins to committing to long-term growth. When success is viewed as a one-time event, it becomes fragile and dependent on external factors like timing, luck, or sudden inspiration. But when success is seen as the natural outcome of consistent habits, it becomes much more accessible and reliable. It means that every day, every choice, every action matters, even the ones that seem small or insignificant in the moment. Daily habits create the foundation for success because they shape who you are becoming. Habits are not just routines. They are reflections of your identity. When you decide to wake up early, exercise, read, or practice your skills regularly, you are telling yourself a story about who you are. A disciplined, committed, and growth-minded person. Over time, these habits mold your character and your capabilities, which are far more powerful predictors of success than a single lucky break ever could be. Moreover, consistent habits help to build resilience and patience, qualities essential for enduring challenges and setbacks. When success depends on one big event, failure can feel devastating and demoralizing. But when success is built on a foundation of small, manageable steps, setbacks become part of the process, a signal to adjust, learn, and keep moving forward. You learn to appreciate progress, however incremental, and develop the perseverance to stick to your routine no matter the circumstances. It's also important to understand that these habits don't have to be monumental or exhausting. In fact, the most effective habits often look simple. Showing up, putting in focused effort, reflecting on what worked and what didn't, and making small improvements. The key is repetition and consistency. Over time, the effects of these actions are multiplied, much like compound interest in finance, turning modest daily investments into significant results. The idea that success comes from consistent daily habits also empowers you because it places the control squarely in your hands. You don't need to wait for external opportunities or dramatic moments to start making progress. Every day offers a new chance to reinforce your habits, refine your skills, and get closer to your goals. This mindset fosters a sense of agency and responsibility. You become the architect of your own success. In summary, success is not a destination marked by a singular event. It is the sum of all the small decisions and actions you make consistently. The habits you cultivate daily shape your identity, build your resilience, and ultimately determine the trajectory of your life. When you embrace this truth, you no longer wait for the perfect moment or a sudden breakthrough. Instead, you commit to showing up every day, trusting that the cumulative power of your efforts will lead you to the success you seek. Your daily routine is more than just a series of tasks or habits you perform without much thought. It is, in fact, the very blueprint of who you become. Every action you take consistently, every choice you make day after day, plays a crucial role in shaping your identity. The routines you build don't just influence your productivity or your results, they fundamentally determine the kind of person you are, the values you embody, and the way you show up in the world. Imagine your identity as a sculpture and your daily routine as the repeated chiseling that shapes it. Each habit, each behavior adds a small detail to the overall picture. When you choose to wake up early, spend time learning, take care of your health, or show kindness to others, you are crafting an identity rooted in discipline, growth, wellness, and empathy. Over time, these small, consistent actions accumulate and solidify into an unshakable sense of self. On the other hand, if your daily routine involves neglect, procrastination, or negative self-talk, these patterns will also harden into your identity, limiting your potential and keeping you stuck. And this is why understanding the power of your daily routine is so important. It's easy to overlook small actions or dismiss them as insignificant, but in reality, these daily behaviors are the seeds from which your character grows. When you repeatedly make positive choices, even when they feel hard or inconvenient, you are training your mind and body to respond in ways that align with the person you want to be. This alignment is critical because your actions will always follow your identity. You don't act first and then become. You become first, and your actions naturally reflect who you believe yourself to be. Consider the mindset of a successful person. Their identity isn't built overnight. It is the result of thousands of choices made consistently over weeks, months, and years. They identify as someone who is persistent, someone who values hard work, someone who embraces challenges as opportunities to grow. Because of this, their routine naturally reflects these beliefs. They wake up early not because they force themselves every day, but because it's part of who they are. This sense of identity makes their actions easier to sustain over time, creating a positive feedback loop where routine and identity reinforce each other. The opposite is equally true. If you see yourself as someone who struggles with discipline, your routine will reflect that belief. You might procrastinate, skip important tasks, or avoid challenges because your identity is telling you that's who you are. Changing your routine in this case isn't just about changing what you do, it's about changing how you see yourself. To transform your routine, you must first transform your identity. Another important aspect is that your identity influences not only your behaviors, but also your mindset and emotional state. When your daily routine is aligned with the values and person you want to become, you feel more confident, purposeful, and motivated. This positive emotional reinforcement makes it easier to maintain your habits and face obstacles with resilience. You begin to trust yourself because your actions are consistent with your core beliefs. So how do you shape your identity through your routine? It starts with clarity. You need to define who you want to be. What kind of person do you admire? What qualities do you want to embody? Once you have a clear vision of your desired identity, you can begin designing daily habits that reflect those qualities. Start small. Choose actions that are manageable and meaningful. Consistency matters more than intensity. Over time, as these habits become ingrained, your identity will begin to shift, and you will naturally act in ways that support your goals. Remember, your identity is not fixed. It is fluid and can be sculpted through the choices you make every day. Your routine is the hands that shape that sculpture. When you take control of your daily habits, you take control of who you become. You're not just chasing success or improvement, you are becoming the kind of person capable of sustaining those successes over a lifetime. This understanding is powerful because it empowers you to build a life rooted in intentionality, authenticity, and growth. In essence, your daily routine doesn't just dictate what you do, it defines who you are. The person you want to become is created one day, one habit, one choice at a time. Small, deliberate actions taken every day have a power far greater than most people realize. They might seem insignificant or even trivial in the moment, but when practiced consistently over time, these actions build momentum that can carry you forward in ways that feel almost unstoppable. This momentum is not just about making progress. It's about creating an unshakable foundation upon which lasting success and personal growth are built. Momentum works much like a snowball rolling down a hill. At first it starts small, a tiny ball of snow that you have to push with effort. But as it rolls, it gathers more snow, grows larger, and picks up speed. Suddenly, what began as a small push turns into a powerful force that moves quickly and easily. Your daily actions function in exactly this way. When you consistently perform small, intentional tasks, you are effectively pushing that snowball, setting in motion a process that compounds over time. The key word here is deliberate. It's not just about doing something every day, but doing the right things, those that align with your goals, values, and vision for the future. Random or unfocused activity won't create meaningful momentum. In fact, it can drain your energy and lead to burnout, but when your actions are purposeful and intentional, each step you take adds strength to your momentum, making it easier to keep moving forward. One of the most important benefits of this momentum is that it creates a positive feedback loop. When you take deliberate action and see even small results, it boosts your confidence and motivation. This motivation then encourages you to take more action, which leads to more progress and results. Over time, this loop becomes self-sustaining, helping you stay committed even when faced with obstacles or setbacks. Building momentum also means that you are creating an unshakable foundation. Foundations are essential in any structure. Without a solid base, everything built on top will eventually crumble. Your daily habits and small actions serve as that foundation for your personal and professional life. When you consistently invest effort in improving yourself, learning new skills, or developing healthy habits, you're laying down bricks that make your foundation strong. This foundation is unshakable because it is based on discipline and consistency, not on external circumstances or fleeting motivation. Life is unpredictable and challenges will inevitably come your way, but if your foundation is solid, built from deliberate daily actions, it will hold steady even in the toughest storms. This stability allows you to bounce back quickly from setbacks and keep moving toward your goals with resilience and confidence. Another reason small deliberate actions are so powerful is that they help you avoid overwhelm. Big goals or massive projects can feel intimidating, and it's easy to get stuck before you even start. But when you break those goals down into small, manageable steps and commit to taking them consistently, you reduce stress and increase your chances of success. Each small step feels doable and keeps you moving forward without getting overwhelmed by the bigger picture. In addition, these daily actions build habits, automatic behaviors that require less effort and willpower over time. When something becomes a habit, it no longer feels like a choice or a struggle. It becomes part of who you are. This shift is crucial because it makes maintaining progress sustainable in the long run. Instead of relying on motivation or discipline alone, you rely on the momentum created by ingrained habits. And it's important to recognize that momentum doesn't mean rushing or pushing yourself recklessly. It means consistent, steady progress that respects your limits and focuses on quality over quantity. Momentum built this way is sustainable and leads to lasting transformation rather than burnout or short-lived bursts of effort. In conclusion, the small, deliberate actions you take every day are the building blocks of momentum and the foundation of your success. They may seem minor when taken individually, but their combined effect is powerful. They create a snowball effect that propels you forward, build confidence and motivation, establish a strong and unshakable foundation, reduce overwhelm, and develop habits that support long-term growth. By committing to these actions with intention and consistency, you set yourself on a path where progress becomes inevitable and success becomes not just a goal, but a natural outcome of your daily choices. One of the most empowering truths about personal growth and success is that you have full control over your daily routine and the power to design the habits that will ultimately shape your future. While there are many factors in life beyond our control, circumstances, other people's actions, unexpected challenges, your routine is something you can consciously create and adjust. This means that regardless of where you start or what obstacles you face, you have the ability to build the habits that lead to the life you want. This idea puts the responsibility and power squarely in your hands. Your routine isn't something that happens to you. It's something you choose. Every morning when you wake up, you get to decide how you will spend your time, what you will prioritize, and what actions you will take. These choices, repeated day after day, become habits, automatic behaviors that shape your identity and outcomes. Because you control your routine, you control the habits you build, and because habits determine your progress, you control your success. Understanding this shifts your mindset from a passive to an active role in your own life. Instead of waiting for motivation to strike or for the perfect conditions to appear, you take ownership of your actions. You recognize that success is not about waiting for luck or a breakthrough, but about consistently making choices that align with your goals. This mindset is powerful because it fuels persistence and resilience. When you know that your habits are your choice, you feel more empowered to stay committed even when things get tough. Designing your routine with intention means being deliberate about how you spend your time and energy. It's about asking yourself, what habits will move me closer to my goals? What routines support my health, mindset, and productivity? What actions can I take daily that will build momentum over weeks, months, and years? When you answer these questions honestly and create a routine based on your priorities, you start to lay the groundwork for meaningful progress. Another key aspect of having control over your routine is the ability to adapt and improve it as you grow. Your goals and circumstances may change, and your routine should be flexible enough to reflect those changes. This adaptability prevents stagnation and keeps you moving forward. It also means you can experiment with different habits and strategies, learning what works best for you personally. Success is not a one-size-fits-all formula. It's a unique journey shaped by your individual choices and adjustments. It's also important to remember that building new habits takes time and patience. You may face resistance from old routines or distractions that pull you off course, but knowing that you have the power to design your habits means you can choose to persist, to start fresh each day, and to make incremental improvements. Even small changes, when practiced consistently, have the power to transform your life. Taking control of your routine also means being mindful about what you allow into your daily life. This includes the people you spend time with, the information you consume, and the environments you create. All of these factors influence your habits and ultimately your success. By curating your surroundings and relationships intentionally, you reinforce the habits that serve you and minimize distractions or negative influence. In essence, the freedom to design your own routine is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. It means you are not at the mercy of external circumstances or fleeting motivation. Instead, you are actively crafting the habits and daily practices that will carry you toward your goals. This control gives you confidence because you know that success is not random. It is the natural outcome of the routine you choose to live by. When you embrace this power, you step into the role of the architect of your own life. You become someone who doesn't just hope for success, but builds it brick by brick, habit by habit. And in doing so, you unlock a level of personal growth and achievement that is sustainable, fulfilling, and truly your own. Greatness is not a sudden destination or an extraordinary achievement that happens overnight. Instead, greatness is a lifestyle, a continuous way of living that is rooted in discipline, persistence, and resilience. It is found not in grand gestures or fleeting moments of triumph, but in the everyday choices and habits that define how you show up, even when no one is watching. At the core of greatness is discipline. Discipline is the ability to stay focused on what matters most, to prioritize long-term goals over short-term distractions or temptations. It means doing the work even when you don't feel motivated and following through on commitments regardless of how you feel in the moment. Discipline is what keeps you consistent. It's what separates those who achieve lasting success from those who give up after the initial excitement fades. When you commit to discipline, you create structure in your life that supports growth and progress. You build routines that propel you forward, making it easier to navigate challenges and setbacks. Persistence goes hand in hand with discipline. It's the refusal to quit, the determination to keep pushing forward despite obstacles, failures, or slow progress. Persistence is about understanding that setbacks are inevitable, but not permanent. It's the mindset that views failure not as a defeat, but as feedback, a necessary part of the learning and growth process. People who embrace persistence know that greatness requires time and effort. They recognize that every step, no matter how small, is a step closer to their goal. Persistence fuels your journey when the road gets tough, helping you to maintain momentum and stay committed to your vision. Resilience is another essential element of greatness. Life is unpredictable, and everyone faces adversity, disappointment, and hardship at some point. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from these difficulties, to recover your strength, and to continue moving forward with renewed energy and optimism. It's about cultivating mental and emotional toughness, so challenges don't derail your progress or shake your confidence. Resilience also means adapting to change and learning from your experiences, using setbacks as opportunities to become stronger and wiser. When you develop resilience, you create a foundation that supports sustainable success and personal growth. Greatness is found in the combination of these qualities: discipline, persistence, and resilience, woven into the fabric of your everyday life. It's the choice to wake up early and work on your goals even when it's easier to sleep in. It's the commitment to practice your craft regularly despite frustration or slow improvement. It's the ability to handle criticism, failure, or rejection with grace and learn from it rather than giving in to discouragement. These small but powerful actions add up over time, shaping your character and determining your path. Living a lifestyle of greatness also means embracing responsibility for your actions and decisions. It requires owning your choices, both good and bad, and using them as stepping stones for growth. Greatness doesn't mean perfection or never making mistakes. It means having the courage to keep going, the humility to learn, and the strength to rise every time you fall. Moreover, greatness isn't something you do once and then forget about. It's a continuous journey of improvement and self-mastery. It's a mindset that keeps you striving to be better, to push beyond your limits, and to make a positive impact on the world around you. It's about living with purpose and integrity, showing up fully in every moment, and inspiring others by your example. Ultimately, greatness is accessible to anyone willing to commit to this lifestyle. It doesn't require extraordinary talent or luck. It requires discipline to stay the course, persistence to overcome setbacks, and resilience to adapt and grow. It's built in the quiet moments of everyday life, the choices you make when no one is watching, the habits you cultivate, and the attitude you bring to challenges. When you embrace greatness as a lifestyle, you transform your approach to life itself. You stop chasing after fleeting success and instead build something lasting and meaningful. You become the kind of person who doesn't just achieve goals, but inspires others to do the same. And in doing so, you create a legacy far greater than any single accomplishment, a legacy defined by character, strength, and an unwavering commitment to living your best life every day. Wishing for motivation or inspiration to strike before taking action is a common trap that many people fall into. We often imagine that the perfect moment will come, when we suddenly feel energized, confident, or inspired, and only then will we start working toward our goals. The truth, however, is quite different. Motivation is fleeting and inspiration is unpredictable. If you wait for those feelings to arrive before you begin, you may end up waiting indefinitely. The key to progress and success lies in starting now, with intentional daily actions, regardless of how you feel in the moment. Intentional action means choosing to do what matters, even when motivation is low or distractions are plentiful. It's about having a clear sense of purpose and direction, and then committing to taking consistent steps toward your goals. These actions don't have to be huge or dramatic. In fact, the most powerful progress often comes from small, deliberate habits practiced regularly. What matters most is that you show up and do the work, day after day. Starting now creates momentum. Momentum is like a force that builds over time, making it easier to keep moving forward once you've begun. When you wait for motivation, you rely on a feeling that may never come. And without momentum, even simple tasks can feel overwhelming. But when you take intentional action, no matter how small, you trigger momentum that grows stronger with each step. The initial effort might be challenging, but as momentum builds, your work becomes easier and more natural. This is why action often precedes motivation, not the other way around. Another important reason to start now is that action breeds clarity. When you begin working toward your goals, you learn more about what works, what doesn't, and what needs adjustment. Waiting for the perfect plan or inspiration can lead to analysis paralysis, a state where overthinking prevents any progress. Taking action, even imperfect action, provides valuable feedback and insights that help you refine your approach. You become more confident and informed because you're learning through experience, not just theory. Intentional daily actions also build discipline, which is critical for long-term success. Discipline is what keeps you going when motivation fades, and it's developed through repetition and commitment. By choosing to act consistently, you train yourself to rely less on fleeting feelings and more on your willpower and structure. Over time, discipline becomes a habit, making it easier to maintain focus and effort regardless of external circumstances. Waiting for motivation or inspiration can also lead to missed opportunities. Life moves quickly, and delays can mean lost chances to grow, connect, or advance. By starting now, you put yourself in motion and open the door to possibilities that might otherwise pass you by. Every action you take creates a ripple effect, attracting new opportunities, resources, and people who can support your journey. It's natural to want to feel motivated or inspired before diving in, but these feelings are often the result of taking action, not the cause. When you engage in your work or practice your habits, you start to feel more energized and connected to your purpose. Inspiration can follow from the momentum you create, not the other way around. This is why the most successful people don't wait for motivation, they cultivate it through their consistent efforts. To start now with intentional daily actions, begin by setting clear, manageable goals that align with your values and vision. Break those goals down into small steps you can accomplish each day. Commit to these actions as non-negotiable parts of your routine. It can help to schedule them, track your progress, and hold yourself accountable. Remember that consistency is more important than intensity. Showing up regularly, even with small efforts, is what leads to lasting change. Finally, be kind to yourself during this process. Starting is often the hardest part, and it's normal to face resistance or doubts. Embrace the discomfort as part of growth and remind yourself why you chose this path. Celebrate the small wins along the way, and keep your focus on progress rather than perfection. In summary, waiting for motivation or inspiration to strike is a barrier to action and progress. Instead, choose to start now with intentional daily actions that move you closer to your goals. This approach builds momentum, clarity, discipline, and opportunity. It empowers you to take control of your journey and creates a foundation for sustainable success. When you commit to showing up consistently, regardless of how you feel, you unlock the true power of progress and set yourself on a path toward meaningful achievement.